Okay. We
All
should
right.
be live.
Yeah.
We should be.
Welcome back to the castle, and a great evening to everybody. My name's Sh0ppo. I'm here as usual with the legendary Ivory Knight.
Oh, I'm
How's
not
it
that
going, man?
legendary. You tone that down.
Okay, so Ivory, we got some stuff to do. Could you tell us a little about it?
Yeah. So
What's
we
happening
got
today?
new DevDiary. So we'll crunch through that. We'll do our 5 minute summary that we, or yeah, approximately 5 minute summary that we usually go for, and then we'll do our regular shoot the shit questions. And then after that, we're looking to do some nice gameplay with. Is it this time? I think you're playing
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah.
our what was it, Golden Horde campaign with,
Yeah.
which I think I left off in a very good, manageable state.
I hope so. It's gotta be tough because I never played on that safe game. But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
It'll be fun. All right, so Dev Diary. We got new information about spies and espionage. So what is this all about? Well, first thing, it's kind of very similar to the feel of spies in the Knights of Honor One, the first game, but there is some different mechanics, and I think they're just better. The first and main difference is this, where you send a spy into your wherever you want them to infiltrate into an enemy court. That spy more or less takes a bit of there's a bit of buffer time, but eventually they just automatically infiltrate the kingdom. And this was in contrast to Knights of Honor 1, where you would send a spy off and you would have to wait until that country hired a court member. So now in Knights of Honor 2, you don't have to wait for your spy to get hired in the court. In fact, I don't even think your spy can get hired in the court. I think they just totally remove that mechanic. Um, Nonetheless, so you send your spy off, you wait some time, he infiltrates the kingdom. And as soon as that happens, you get vision of all the stuff that's going on in the kingdom, in terms of like land and army movement. You'll start to hear what's called rumors, and the rumors can include like future plans of the country, the weaknesses that the country have, maybe problems that are arising, and some rumors are just kind of pointless. Uh, so you start to get some information and this just trickles in over time, kind of thing. Now, actions obviously, your spy needs to do some actions, and the actions, well, you can start initiating murder plots for one. You can also spoil country relations with that country and other countries. But the main thing, it sounds like, that you kind of do with your spy is you bribe the court members of the infiltrated kingdom. So you send your spy over, he gets in, and then you can click to, I guess, bribe a court member. And if the bribe ends up being successful, then that opens up a whole new assortment of possibilities that your spy can initiate. And it depends on the type of knight that you bribe. So some of the suggestions was, if you bribe, like, say, a knight or like a marshal, sorry, like you bribe knights, and different knights are different classes. So sorry, a bit of confusion there.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But a
marshals
marshal.
are like
Yeah.
military knights, and if you get one of those, then you could basically institute a rebellion across the whole uh, country, possibly. If you bribe a merchant, you can rob money. Simple things like that. And as well,
Mhm.
if you bribe, like, say, a governor of a city, then if you like siege that city, they will just like open up the gates and let you come in, kind of thing. You won't even have to, like, I guess, fight the city at all. Uh, and but it's not all safe, right? Using spies, and if your spy does get caught, you will lose relations with that country. Obviously, you may even lose crown authority, which is probably a big deal. And that spy is likely to get imprisoned. And if that happens, then you're gonna have to retech a whole new knight, uh, a knight spy, which I'm assuming is like Knights of Honor One can be pretty costly. And it sounded like that from the dev stream. And that's the summary. So everything else now is just questions
Is
and
and up for a discussion.
up
Yeah.
for discussion.
Yeah, thank you for the summary. Like, do you have a point that's really that that like really got you that you hate or that you like a lot when you run through the diary the first time?
Yeah, everyone picked up on this one on one point, which was getting insta vision. So when you
Yeah,
send your spy over, there's like a time delay, and then
yeah.
when the time delay is over, you get complete vision of the whole kingdom. And I thought about this a bit, and I don't really like it. And the devs justified it by saying, yeah, well, you can't like you don't just send your spy over and he instantly infiltrates. There is like a time delay, so you can't like if you want to declare war right now, well, you're gonna have to wait to let your spy infiltrate before you get vision. But I think it's more cool to see in a way a country getting like having more of it infiltrated as you look at it or something. So when you send your
Mhm.
spy over, rather than having like a time delay, then instant vision, I would rather have it that you slowly start to see more and more things over time, and then after say a half a year or something, then you have complete vision. But at say half a year, you only see I don't know cities. You don't see like maybe the province borders, things like this. I think that would be really cool if it was like a gradual vision.
Yeah, and it may depend on some actions or skill that your spy has, because I
Of
think it's
course.
unrealistic just to having a spy in another court, in another kingdom, in another province doesn't mean you can see everything of the province. That doesn't make sense. And I mean, they kind of nerfed it by yeah, it takes time, it's costly to send in a spy. There
Mm-hmm.
is always the risk that the spy gets caught, for sure. But I don't like it, and I wrote it in the comments.
Do you
That
like my
doesn't feel
idea
right.
though, where like you send it and then you get like you see one thing maybe, and then like a week goes by and you see another thing, and then another week goes by and you see another thing, and then
Yeah,
you keep seeing more and more things.
or you take it through actions. I mean, you can tell the spy. Generally, it is like you put in a spy, or yeah, you send a spy to another kingdom, and then the spy infiltrates the kingdom, and you can tell the spy, check out army plans, check out the strength of the army, invasion plans, check out
I feel like that is really
relations.
cool, and
So
that would actually give it like a whole new depth of
mm,
tactical play. But then again, I'm worried uh, of those options that maybe you be
too
given.
much. Like,
Yeah, it might be too much, and a lot of them might not be used ever. Like if it's something that's like check the economy of trade goods, maybe nobody uses that, and
yeah, I mean, like one thing they could also do, like from time to time, some, like you said, some info comes out, or if he does one action, um, it could be that he overhears another conversation or stuff, whatever, and he finds out something else. So it's like a bonus. That's gonna. If you take action, then there is a bonus, that you can get some more information. Like, you know what I mean?
when you say information, are you talking about the vision or are you talking about rumors as well?
Generally, like it's
Generally,
it's
okay.
up for it's random. Like you send a spy in, and then after some time maybe he can see one of the armies, and if you tell him to infiltrate the royal court or infiltrate the army, and he finds out that they have that much marshals, and as a bonus it is like, oh, and your spy also managed to get some information about struggling relations with whatever. So that's just a bonus info that could happen, but not necessarily has to happen.
So one thing that also so that was one of the things I mentioned was that vision instant vision issue. Another more prudent issue I think is how this all translates into multiplayer, because things
Mm.
like getting rumors and future plans and weaknesses and problems, like how does that translate into multiplayer? Because future plans, well, humans are you can't have future plans for humans in multiplayer. Like people can just change their mind willy nilly, right?
True.
Rumors, I guess you could use maybe like blackmail people in their court to give some kind of like
But I mean,
forcing.
we do have stuff like invasion plans, and invasion plans are confidential, so nobody knows about them except the kingdoms participating in them,
Oh,
and a spy
yes.
could
Okay,
unveil
okay.
them.
So that's how that works. Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's what I think would make sense. But like my biggest fear is that, and they addressed it on stream, that it's like you pop in and out one of the spies to a kingdom, check all the kingdoms, and that's not really interesting. I mean, you see everything. There's little danger, little surprises,
It might be
but
expensive. Maybe that's the nerf or the balance
yeah,
is
yeah.
that it costs a lot, and so you got to really prioritize who you're going to be sending the
But
spy
still,
to.
maybe
Maybe.
in the late game, if you have a skilled um, spy and traditions and have a lot of money, you don't really care, right? That could happen.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking if the balance is money, will people even use spies during single player against campaign then against computer? Because then like why would you just guess what computers are going to attack you, right? And you'll probably be accurate with that. Don't even
Mm.
worry about having a spy. Whereas in almost it's more effective in a multiplayer game, like you mentioned, where if you can detect future plans, then you can actually figure out, oh, Sh0ppo's trying to backstab me, so yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go make
yeah.
plans with some other people in the game,
I
and
think that's gonna be really interesting, like a
yeah,
really interesting, and puts a lot of uh, yeah, it makes the spy really useful. I mean, like one thing, and that's what I really liked to read is that they wanted to make a difference between a spy and a diplomat because diplomat
mm-hmm.
class is something new. We didn't have that in Knights of Honor 1. And a diplomat, they said a diplomat is more about defensive action, maintaining actions. And
Yeah.
for a spy, it is like the spy is the
Oh,
guy
I
acting
I
offensively,
think that
bribing,
decision that they made on that was
sabotaging.
just completely thematically correct and good, and I think that makes the flavor of the character
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
and it gives you more incentive to use a spy because if you want to be aggressive, then you need a spy. You can't use a diplomat. You just can't. From what they're, I think that's the way they kind of want to make it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's just like in reality, that's the nature of those kind of things. I mean, diplomats are normally about maintaining relationship, improving relationships, and not normally they're not into attacking them. Could happen, but yeah, the
so
spies are the sneaky ones.
I'm reading one of the mentioned questions here, and it was about kings and princes
Oh
becoming
yeah, yeah.
spies. So walk me through that because I didn't quite follow that. Was it that a you bribe a knight or a prince, and then that prince becomes a king, and then now you've effectively bribed the king of that country? Was that how that worked?
Um, like, yeah, I wasn't sure about this question. Like, how I understood it was exactly like you understood it right now, but in stream they addressed it, or maybe it was another one in the stream, and the question was more like, can king and princes like of your own court become spies? And for this, they were pretty clear about it. They said yes, and especially kings will be pretty powerful. I mean, that reminds me of this DevDiary about the skills, where they said, I mean, a marshal, a king marshal, or a king diplomat is much more powerful than one of the more common knights, which
Yes,
makes sense.
yes.
But I am, and same goes with spies. But I am not sure um, how they addressed, like how we first got the question. I can't tell you honestly.
Mm-hmm. Uh, I suspect it is the way I said it though. I it would be weird if it was somehow related
Yeah,
to like a prince being born as a spy or something like that doesn't make sense to me.
yeah.
It must be that you bribe a prince
Mm,
who's like fighting as a marshal and then he becomes the king. and then
Yeah.
now you have a owned king. But then it begs the question: can you, if there's a king marshal, can you bribe the king marshal?
Yeah, I wonder if I think if this is possible, it will be really, really hard, or it needs the
Yeah,
right
like an
circumstances.
extraordinate sum of money.
Yeah, I mean, it needs the right circumstances, that you may bribe a prince, like if he's not becoming the successor to the throne,
Oh
or is he
yes,
unhappy with
yeah,
how
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
kingdom is developing, then there might be action for you to step in.
If he's
But
not the
one thing,
heir, then you can easily bribe him, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, like make him your puppet and then whatever. That's interesting. And another thing that I can imagine, I think they talked about it though. Like if you bribe one of the marshals, and the marshals becomes your puppet, and then the king dies, especially for non feudal kingdoms,
Okay.
like for example the Mongolians, marshals can easily become king. Like, and if you bribed one of the
Oh yes,
marshals
yes,
and
yes,
he's then
yes.
becoming king, then you like got a corrupted king, right?
Yep, for sure, for
I
sure,
mean,
for
that could
sure.
happen.
That's interesting, and it's gonna be interesting how modding gets fit into all this too, because
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot
holy
of
shit.
interesting shenanigans that can all unfold with
Yeah, I
all
mean
this.
that's like one question that also occurred, and it does regularly. It does on YouTube, on previous streams.
It's almost on like
Um,
every stream.
it's about the mod support, and yes, there will be, just to address it here, like there will be mod support in the game, and the developers told us that it is very data driven. So you can adjust settings, you can adjust the balance, you can put in like completely new stuff, and it should be in general fairly easy.
They
That's
keep
what they're aiming for.
getting the question. They keep answering it in like the same way that they're like, "Yeah, we're very excited about the modding. We're really looking forward to seeing what the community does with it." And they've
Yeah.
said that answer like so many times now that I don't do any modding. I know nothing about like computer programming. I'm excited about their modding. Like I don't even know what's gonna be the options, but like it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I know it. That's like one of the first information that I got. Like one of the first Dev Diaries, as I remember it, or the first ones that I read, it was in there, and I immediately got the feeling, okay, that's very important for the devs.
Yeah.
So that is following around for like a year now, or more than a year actually.
I think I love the devs on this game because it seems like they have gaming spirits, because I think modding is super important to keeping a game very strong. If you look at games that are just around forever, like StarCraft, Half
Yeah,
Life, these
yeah,
games have very high modding capability, and they have huge cult followings because of it now. And
yeah,
so I,
yeah.
I think
True.
they're absolutely right to be taking this approach and pushing hard with it.
Yeah. And like one other question, it's from Dofla Legend, which is very interesting because it brings up some old mechanics from another dev diary, from an earlier one. He asked if skills of marshals could be used by spies too, and yes, definitely, because if you want to read it, it's the skills dev diary. There will be something like secondary skills. There will be primary skills, especially for this class. Like a marshal will be a strong leader, but also maybe a merchant or a spy can become a good leader, but then it's more like a secondary skill. But it
Hmm.
for sure will be possible.
What other knight classes are there?
Like all of the classes.
Yeah, what are all the knight
Okay.
classes? I'm gonna look for
Uh,
that dive diary because
we we got marshals, clerics, merchants, spies, diplomats,
marshals, clerics. So what if you bribe a cleric? What does that give you?
cultural influence or religious influence.
Possibly, yeah. Okay.
But but what else? Maybe. Oh no, no, it's not. You have to be a governor. Like if one of the knights is governor of a province you addressed it in the intro, in the summary, then you can open the gates during a siege, which is pretty cool. I like that idea as well.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to think about what Okay, so we have marshals, merchants, diplomats, spies, and clerics.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so wait, what happens if you bribe a spy? I guess you can just kill people and stuff more. Oh yeah, that was mentioned in the stream. Is if you get double agents.
Yeah, you
If
can try to turn. Yeah.
yeah, if you try to turn somebody.
Oh yeah. That reminds me of something. Let me just for a second check my notes. Um.
Feel free. In the meantime,
Oh yeah.
oh
Menzi, like he has the same thing. If we caught a spy, can we choose to imprison them or turn them?
yeah,
And they told us yes, there will be several options. That's a big one.
yeah,
I like that
that's
idea.
interesting. I I hope it's more than just like I wonder how the turning works. Like and I hope it has some kind of like in-depth mechanic to it somewhat.
Not only money. Yeah.
Yeah, not just money or
Yeah.
like relations or something interesting and useful and maybe a couple of like multiple options like one or two three
I
different
mean,
things.
I could imagine something like that you offer them one of your provinces and that he then becomes an ally of yours or something. I don't know how this affects crown authority, but if you think like, okay, I'm gonna give him this province and then immediately I rush him and get back the province, and if you do that, then it definitely should lower your crown authority. So you can't really exploit it, or it would make the whole thing useless. There has to be a price for you, right?
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about this picture? That was it me or was it not me?
It's for sure it's you.
That
Yeah, that was fun during the stream.
was a lot of laughs there.
Yeah,
I think
like for guys for explanation, like Ivory a whole lot of month ago he put up
well,
a
this is
picture of himself.
my profile picture is
Yeah,
the my
and
picture right here.
that's the picture the devs made because Ivory uploaded a picture of himself and told like, hey, it would be awesome to have his picture in the game for an avatar.
Yeah.
And they did it in one of the screenshots. And now this guy right here, the spy who failed, he kind of looks like Ivory, don't you think? So that's like what came up during the stream of the devs. It was fun.
Did you see anything new in the pictures?
I
Sometimes the pictures give you interesting.
Yeah, I know that's like one weakness I have. I don't really analyze them in depth, you know.
I see this icon
So
by the. I think these are marshals, if I had to guess,
yeah,
and that looks like a
that's
tent.
like something you found out. Oh yeah, right. Maybe
So it looks like they're
he's
tenting,
a
which
war
is
camp.
was a
Yeah,
similar mechanic in Knights of Honor One, where you would move your marshal out in the land and then plop tent when you want to rest.
yeah, yeah. I'm just checking the clock. I think we do have one or two more questions left. Um, and then we should wrap up the summary and continue with our gameplay. Knights of
Yep.
Honor 1. Um,
Or
so let me
if we have
check.
nothing else to say, we can also end early. Don't wanna.
Oh, like I got another question from Dr. Legend. Like, is there so to get information from a spy you caught? Like he asked, is there? You can always torture him, but he asked if there will be another option that will not cost you crown authority, and the devs are not sure about this. At some point, they said,
Because that was a
I
feature in
they
Knights of
were
Honor
pretty
1 where
different.
you would torture somebody to get information
Yeah,
out, and then you would lose
yeah,
kingdom power, which was a big fucking deal. So, like, you would never torture anybody, because it's like, why would you
yeah,
do that? You just
yeah.
lose take such a huge hit.
And like they basically said they have no idea what they're going to do. It might be needed to torture them, but they have no idea. They just have to figure it out later on in during the iterations they're doing.
The thing is, because in the DevDiary they made it clear that if you sent a spy over and it got caught, you lose relations. You also lose crown authority for, I guess, like being an espionage type kingdom.
Yeah,
People frown
yeah,
upon that. Um, so for the other kingdom who's captured your spy to then torture and then them lose kingdom power or crown authority doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense actually, because it's like you captured a spy. Why would we be faulted for that? Why would we be faulted for torturing a spy? Right? Like these things happen, and it made sense for countries to torture spies.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, I think that was a mechanic in Knights of Honor One. If you look back on it, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And
yeah.
I sounds like they're not including it in this
And I'm
in Knights of Honor Two.
and I clearly can remember how I went through this process. Like I caught one spy, and then I tortured the spy, and I lost kingdom power, and I was like, holy shit, what happened? Like
Yeah,
that's insane. So the second thing I did, um, okay, kind of makes sense. I get it. It's not nice uh, to torture people. You shouldn't do that. But in the end, it was like, okay, I'm never gonna torture any spy. So
yeah,
that if you have like a kingdom power of -5, then you could do it, all right. But I mean, then
you have
that's
other
like
problems.
the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I don't think a kingdom should be punished for torturing a spy that they caught. I think
yeah.
that's my statement there.
I think there should be kind of a workaround. Like there should be punishment for you if you torture a spy, but there should be, depending on the circumstances, a possibility to extract some information. Like I mean, either bribing him or if you got some compromising information on him, if you do have it. I could imagine compromising information that you have. That could be one thing. Oh, that could be one thing. Like that. Okay, I want to address this. Maybe a last thought because
Yeah,
it is important. So, if you have a spy in another kingdom, then different options unfold to you. Like you can. That's how I got it, or how the devs. I think they explained it and described it in the dev diary. You have different options what a spy can do, and if you decide on one thing and he succeeds, you can do another thing, or more options open up.
mm.
So that's kind of a quest line that is happening there, a little story for that spy. And if you decide, okay, I got this spy in the other kingdom, and I want him to check, does the other kingdom have spies, and what are they doing, or which kingdom are they infiltrating? And if you do so and you find out something about a spy, you could tell them, let's find some compromising info so we could bribe the spy into turning him, or into, if you caught him, to, yeah, extract some information. That would make, I think that would make a nice storyline.
I think so too. I really like the idea of like opening up storylines through the actions of the
Yeah,
spy.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah,
One of the things that I'm just reading here or noticed in the pictures was it says the spy that you have in your enemy's court organized jailbreak where you
yeah.
freed
Oh
a
yeah,
marshal that you had got caught in that enemy's country from the jail. So wrap that up in a more simpler sense. I had an army, my marshal got caught. If I send a spy to that country, I can free my marshal potentially, which is obviously a very good and nifty reason to have a spy in the country you want to go to war with.
yeah. That's
Um,
that's a cool idea. Yeah.
this one I didn't quite get exactly what was happening. It says, as expected, Marshal Ansgar was easily convinced to work for us. Spy Zane will make sure any commands from us will reach him. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
somehow
it's,
you
it's
get
like you got
control
a
of a marshal?
yeah, you got a puppet marshal.
Ah, interesting. I wonder what kind of command. I hope it's not just like you get his vision. I hope it's like
Yeah, I mean,
more
you
than what
already
was in
got the
Knights of
vision.
Honor 1. Because in Knights of Honor 1, it was you got the vision and you could make him turn into a rebellion. And that
Yeah,
was just, it was kind of plain and boring. I feel like Knights of Honor 2 should have something else on that.
Yeah, I think there will be. Like, in general, the idea of spies has way more depth than in Knights 101
Already, yeah, for sure. Already it
anymore. Yeah,
does. Okay.
that's it.
Sh0ppo, give us a wrap up. We'll be back in 20
5 to
minutes.
10 minutes.
5 to 10 minutes. Okay, 5 to 10. That's 20 me. Yeah.
20. Now we gotta
That's 10. Around 10.
readjust some technical stuff
Yeah.
to set up that the game shows up properly, runs properly. Yeah, technical stuff. But we will be right back and continue our Only Marshals run in Knights 101.
Yeah. Should we? Okay, then that's it. We are back. See you guys in about 10 minutes.
See you in a couple of minutes.